Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Rafli, Abitya Amsoro. I'm from second grade D. Here I will present of Portugal. In the next slide, what about Portugal? If we explore the Portuguese culture through the lens of the 6D model, we can get a good overview of the deep drivers of Portuguese culture relative to other world cultures. In the next slides, power distance. This dimension deals with the fact that all individuals in societies are not equal. It expresses the attitude of the culture towards these inequalities amongst us. Power distance is defined as the extent to which the less powerful members of institution and organization within a country expect and accept that power is distributed unequally. Portugal's score on this dimension, 63, reflects that hierarchical distance is accepted and those holding the most powerful position are admitted to have privilege for the possession. Management control, AE, the boss requests information from his subordinates and thus expect their boss to control them. A lack of interest toward a subordinate would mean this one is not relevant in the organization. At the same time, this would make the employee feel unmotivated. Negative feedback is very distressing, so for the employer it is more than difficult to provide his boss with the negative information. The boss needs to be conscious of this difficulty and search for little signal in order to discover the real problems and avoid becoming relevant. In the next slide, individualism. The fundamental issue addressed by this dimension is the degree of interdependence a society maintains among its members. It has to do with whether people's self-image is defined in terms of I or we. In individualist societies, people are supposed to look after themselves and their direct family only. In collectivist societies, people belong to in-group that take care of them in exchange for loyalty. Portugal, in comparison with the rest of the European countries, except for Spain, in collectivist because of its score in this dimension, 27. This is manifest in a close long-term commitment to the member group, be that a family, extended family, or extended relationship. Loyalty in a collectivist culture is paramount and overrides most other societal rules and regulation. The society fosters strong relationship where everyone takes responsibility for fellow members of their group. In collectivist societies, offense leads to shame and loss of face. Employer or employee relationship are perceived in moral terms or like a family link. Hiring and promotion decision take account of the employee in group. Management is the management of group. In the next slide, masculinity. A high score or masculine on this dimension indicates that the society will be driven by competition, achievement, and success, with success being defined by the winner or best in field, a value system that starts in school and continues throughout organizational organizational life. A low score, feminine, on the dimension means that the dominant values in society are caring for other and quality of life. A feminine society is one where quality of life is the sign of success and standing out from the crowd is not admirable. The fundamental issue here is what motivates people wanting to be the best or masculine or liking what you do feminine. Portugal score 31 on this dimension and is a country where the key word in consensus. Polarization is not well considered or excessive competitiveness appreciated. In feminine countries, the focus is on working in order to live. Managers strive for consensus. People value equality, solidarity, and quality in their working lives. Conflicts are resolved by compromise in negotiation. Incentives such as free times and flexibility are favorites. Focus is on well-being. Status is not sound, and an effective manager is supportive one, and decision making is as if through involvement. In the next slide, uncertainty avoidance. The dimension uncertainty avoidance has to do with the way that a society deals with the fact that the future can never be known. So we try to control the future or just let it happen. This ambiguity brings with it anxiety, and different cultures have learned to deal with this anxiety and in different ways. The extent to which two members of a culture feel the feel threatened by ambiguous or unknown situation and have created beliefs and institutions that try to avoid this is relevant in the score on uncertainty avoidance. If there is a dimension that defines Portugal very clearly, it is uncertainty avoidance. Portugal score 99 on this dimension and thus has a very high preference for avoiding uncertainty. Countries exhibiting high uncertainty avoidance maintain rigid codes of belief in behavior and are intolerant of unorthodox behavior and ideas. In these cultures, there is an emotional need for rules, even if the rules never seem to work. This time is money. People have an inner urge to be busy and work hard. Precision and punctuality are the norm. Innovation may be resisted. Security is an important element in individual motivation. In the next slide, long-term orientation. This dimension describes how every society has to maintain some links with its own past while dealing with the challenge of the present and future, and society's priorities. Thus, to existential goals differently. Normative societies, which score low on this dimension, for example, prefer to maintain time-bounded tradition and norms while viewing societal change with suspicion. Those with a culture which scores high, on the other hand, take a more pragmatic approach. They encourage thrift and effort in modern education as a way to prepare for the future. A low score of 28 show that Portuguese culture prefers normative thought over pragmatic. People in such societies have a strong concern with establishing the absolute truth. They are normative in their thinking. They exhibit great respect for tradition, a relatively small propensity to save for the future, and a focus on achieving quick results. In the next slide, indulgence. Indulgence. One challenge that confronts humanity now and in the past is the degree to which small children are socialized. Without, without socialization, we do not become human. This dimension is defined as the extent to which people try to control their desires and impulses based, na, based on the way they were they were raised. Relatively weak control is called indulgence, and relatively strong control is called restraint. Restraint. Culture, culture can therefore be described as indulgent or restrained. A relatively low score of 33 indicates that Portugal has a culture of restraint. Restraint. Societies with a low score is societies with a low score in this dimension have a tendency to cynicism and pessimism. Also, in contrast to indulgent societies, restrained societies do not put much emphasis on leisure time and control the gratification of their desires. People with this orientation have the perception that their actions are restrained by social norms and feel that indulging themselves is somewhat wrong. On the last slide, thank you for your attention. More or less sorry, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.